This just in, the highly anticipated conference, Business Analysis Summit Southern Africa, will be hosted in Durban. The 12th edition of the conference will see the best minds in business analysis, both locally and internationally, descend on the sunny shores between the 4th and the 6th of November. This is a developing story, so keep your eye out for further information. Make sure you don't miss out on the business analysis event of the year.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Tools and Techniques evening. And tonight we've got a special guest. Her name is Karin Olivier, and she'll be taking us through how to get your data AI ready. Before we do that, let's just move on to some of our house rules. Okay, so please remain on mute unless you clear to talk. There's a chat area and a QA area which we monitor, so you can add your comments and anything in there for time being. Switch off your videos, only presenters' videos allowed. The presentation will more or less be about 45 minutes long, and then after that we'll have time for Q&A. You might post your questions in the chat, as mentioned earlier, and that Q&A section, we'll monitor that, and then at that time, we'll go through all of those. The presentations afterwards uploaded onto the IIBA SA's YouTube page. We'll paste all these links in the chat for you for reference. To become a member of the IIBA, there's a membership hyperlink there where you can access and apply. Then also we have our own LinkedIn page. We've got all the events listed there, everything that you need to know, upcoming newsletters, events. Our summit is coming up. So all of that will be posted on LinkedIn. If you follow us, you'll definitely see it on the IIBA SA chapter. And then also, should be interested in joining any of these volunteer sessions we have, this one is specific to the tools and techniques. You're welcome to send a mail to professionaldevelopment@southafricaiiba.org, and then we'll connect you with the relevant people to get involved. Alrighty, so if we talk about Karin, she is a seasoned professional in the ICT sector, okay, with a career spanning over 2 decades. She started in 2005. She has progressively climbed the ranks, assuming roles such as software developer, software architecture, operations manager, development manager, and general manager, amongst others. So her expertise cuts across various industries, including the mining, banking, insurance, and then telecommunications. She serves as the data governance and security lead at Entity Data. That is where she leverages her master's degree in data privacy to then assist in crafting the client's data strategy, data compliance, and security. Right, so that's Karin Olivier, and I'll hand over to her now to take us through this evening's session. Karin, I think you're on mute.
For that, I was just saying that 2 decades is very long, so clearly the unmute button isn't working for me either. So yeah, when I was in school, we still had dial-up internet, so I guess the 2 decades is accurate in that sense. So welcome. Thank you for the introduction there. I've been in quite a few roles, but data has always been the core to them. being it in a managerial level where I use data to do my job, or a developer where I wrote applications. Data's always been part of it. So today I'm going to just, I've only got about 50 slides, so I hope we can get through that in the 45 minutes. But I'm going to talk to you about data and AI. Now, just to quickly go through what we're going to talk about is the AI revolution, the why is data needed within the AI revolution, and then also a case study around it, what we need to focus, and then the role of the BA, and then a quick conclusion. So yeah, it's 50 slides, so it's 9 per section. It's okay. The AI revolution, everyone's heard about the industrial revolution and the fourth industrial revolution. I think it's the AI revolution we are in now. Now, if you think a little bit in history, you will remember something called the printing press. That democratized knowledge. Previously to that, they were writing books by hand. It was only the rich people, or the people, or the monks in the monastery that could actually afford the books or have the books. And with the printing press, democratization of knowledge came about. Now, in the AI revolution, it is the democratization of intelligence. Now, that's a very, very, very big word. So when printing press, everyone could have knowledge. Now everyone can have intelligence. It's I don't think that's 100% accurate, because even with a tool, you can still not get your 100% intelligent. I don't want to insult anyone here, or in the world, but let's leave it that. But intelligence is closer. You can do some intelligent tasks with that. So in the next section, or the next slide, I'm just going to play a little video explaining what is AI. I can't do it in 10 minutes. So I've decided to outsource it, because if I start to explain, I might go too deep or skip a few things. So I think it's about 8 minutes long, maybe even less. Just a high level on what is AI and where we are currently with it before we actually go and talk around the rest. It's not going to be a deep explanation, so it's for business people. So here we go.
It's a weekend,
Can
and John
everyone
decided
hear?
to watch the latest movie recommended by Netflix at his friend's place. Before heading out, he asked Siri about the weather and realized it would rain. So he decided to take his Tesla for the long journey and switch to autopilot on the highway. After coming home from the eventful day, he started wondering how technology has made his life easy. He did some research on the internet and found out that Netflix, Siri, and Tesla are all using AI. So, what is AI? AI, or artificial intelligence, is nothing but making computers-based machines think and act like humans. Artificial intelligence is not a new term. John McCarthy, a computer scientist, coined the term artificial intelligence back in 1956. But it took time to evolve as it demanded heavy computing power. Artificial intelligence is not confined to just movie recommendations and virtual assistants. Broadly classifying, there are 3 types of AI. Artificial narrow intelligence, also called weak AI, is the stage where machines can perform a specific task. Netflix, Siri, chatbots, facial recommendation systems are all examples of artificial narrow intelligence. Next up, we have artificial general intelligence, referred to as an intelligent agent's capacity to comprehend or pick up any intellectual skill that a human can. We are halfway into successfully implementing this phase. IBM's Watson supercomputer and GPT-3 fall under this category. And lastly, artificial superintelligence. It is the stage where machines surpass human intelligence. You might have seen this in movies and imagined how the world would be if machines occupy it. Fascinated by this, John did more research and found out that machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing are all connected with artificial intelligence. Machine learning, a subset of AI, is the process of automating and enhancing how computers learn from their experiences without human help. Machine learning can be used in email spam detection, medical diagnosis, etc. Deep learning can be considered a subset of machine learning. It is a field that is based on learning and improving on its own by examining computer algorithms. While machine learning uses simpler concepts, deep learning works with artificial neural networks, which are designed to imitate the human brain. This technology can be applied in face recognition, speech recognition, and many more applications. Natural language processing, popularly known as NLP, can be defined as the ability of machines to learn human language and translate it. Chatbots fall under this category. Artificial intelligence is advancing in every crucial field like healthcare, education, robotics, banking, e-commerce, and the list goes on. Like in healthcare, AI is used to identify diseases, helping healthcare service providers and their patients make better treatment and lifestyle decisions. Coming to the education sector, AI is helping teachers automate grading, organizing, and facilitating parent-guardian conversations. In robotics, AI-powered robots employ real-time updates to detect obstructions in their path and instantaneously design their routes. Artificial intelligence provides advanced data analytics that is transforming banking by reducing fraud and enhancing compliance. With this growing demand for AI, more and more industries are looking for AI engineers who can help them develop intelligent systems and offer them lucrative salaries going north of $120,000. The future of AI looks promising with the AI market.
Okay, so I hope everyone can now has got a broad understanding. There are so many and so many layers that I figured this will be enough for now, because otherwise we're going to sit here for 4 hours. So the next section which we're going to dive in is actually, yeah, so what? It's nice, it's cool, it's beautiful toys, but what does it have to do with me in also my day-to-day life? And how does it work? So as you could have seen there, you've got machine learning, you've got neural networks, you've got deep learning, all of these things. It's fine, it's nice, it's cool. The guy in the corner that studied statistics, he's got it. But none of this will work without data, and that's where myself as a data professional, and then yourselves as the BAs on the call or anyone else, that's where we play the role. It's in the data. We don't need to be part of that. I saw the salary there and I thought, wow, I should have studied statistics. But that's not the audience that's currently here. So nothing will work if your data is not ready. So why do we need data? We need the data for training. So if you look back at the video, you had the neural networks and you had the machine learning. So let's start with the machine learning. So how machine learning works, very high level, is it is algorithms that when you feed data, it trains. So let's say, and I always say that it's like a toddler. A toddler will bring you a round thing and you will tell it it's a circle. Next time it's a circle. Next time it's a circle. Eventually it will identify it as a circle. If, for instance, you would have told the toddler the round thing is a square, the toddler will believe it. The same with these algorithms. You train it in a certain way. The accuracy improves. That's also why you need data. So now that you told the toddler now that that this item is a circle, you kind of improve the accuracy as it goes along. Is it the ellipse? Is the circle the moon? And you keep training. So you also need data for that. If you look at ChatGPT, before they actually started it or rolled it out, they had millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of pieces of data. And they actually had initially, they had not computer trainers, so it didn't train itself. They actually employed students, and the students went, and the computer will ask a question and they would say yes or no. So is this a circle? No. Is this a circle? Yes. And that's how they trained it. And then it could start auto training. Adaptability is also a reason why you need it. For instance, you would need, if you look at Google and Google Maps, you will adapt your route based on the data that comes into the algorithm. So is there now traffic or not? And you will adapt based on that. Then lastly, it will be for decision making. Now, this is more or less where we get into the business side of things, is you've now gotten this trained model, it can adapt, it's accurate. Now we need to give it data in order to make decisions. And that is basically the top 4 things that you need, why data is needed is for those things. Now, that's not all. There's a lot of more technical information, technical deep items, but for now, this is basically it. So I think as you see this, you can think of Netflix. Training is, I've watched these movies. This is my trend of movies. Accuracy, when it says, did you like the movie? Yes or no. Adaptability, maybe it's the season. It's Christmas time. So let's suggest Christmas movies. And then decision making, when you leave Netflix on, it just starts to play something. And that's just the basic example of it, if I can say so. Now, I'm going to go way off the beaten track with a case study. It's not a business-driven case study. It is something out of the police force in Spain. And maybe people have read up about this in news. It actually came in the news last week. So this case study, this algorithm is used to analyze victims of abuse. So this is abuse in the house. So that's what this algorithm does. It actually goes, the people come to the police and they then talk and they then get scored a risk level. So how does it work? You first of all do the data collection and analysis. So just think back now to those 4 blocks. So first of all, they'll ask victim information, which is done by the police officers. So still human information. Human intervention. The police officers will do that. Secondly, police records, older police records. There will be a risk assessment algorithm, which is a scoring system, which for most of it is it's not known. Well, what I could find is not known how. Now, and I'm going to now pull this through to the AI Act, which is in Europe. The AI Act now states that for items like this, the coding or the algorithm used to determine the score should be transparent, which is the reason for that is that people can figure out why something goes wrong, why not. And with transparency doesn't mean you have to now go and publish it on the internet and everyone can do it. But if asked, it should be transparent. Just like Poppy, you need to be able to show how the data is processed, or GDPR, how the data is processed. The AI Act also have got that in. So then a risk level is given, and then lastly, protection measures is given for whatever reason, that goes then back to the human side of things. So if we look at the data points that is then used by this algorithm, so victim information, structured interviews conducted by police officers. And we've got, I'm just reading on the big screen. Questions answered by women. Is the last 6 months, has there been any escalation of aggression or threats? So that's a kind of a yes, no, maybe type questions. It is done in an interview, but in the end, the algorithm needs yes, no, maybe, not words, long words. Then the second piece of information is then the police record, and then the scoring system goes into place. The risk level is defined, and then it produces a score. So for instance, in this scenario, it is a low risk score for this Lobna Hemet. So now, I don't know if you guys can think of any consequences if this is wrong. I mean, this is now a specific case from a police. You can think of it health-wise. If, let's say, for instance, I don't know, they take your blood type and they now analyze that you're going to have a 11th toe or something like that. But what if it is wrong? This is what happened. They sent that lady home because she was caught, you know, as a negligible, and the husband killed her 2 days later. So now you will tell me, AI, throw it out, useless, look at what happened. No. We can't deal with this, machines are evil, and so forth. This is one item out of the many that happens. There's also success stories for the same algorithm, but I chose that specifically so we can chat about it. If we look at what do we need to focus on here, why could it have gone wrong? The quality of data. You need high quality data. And in the research about that specific case is the learning from the models it struggled to train the model because of abused victims not disclosing everything. So it was top secret stuff. Oh no, I'm fine. I walked into a door, all those things. So the quality of the data and the accuracy was not correct, and thus the training was not correct. Then the security, the private data, I don't want to say something private. They come for the first time, you know, all of those type of things. I'm not going to go, but the quality, you need to, the data governance side of things, quality is very important when going into this. And then the second thing is the privacy and security. Now, privacy and security overall in data governance is a big thing. In AI, it's even, I can't even say how important this is. Not only for this case study, but overall, if we have a look at Copilot, ChatGPT, anything like that. So if, and I'm taking this example, if a landscape, a data landscape is kept open and you just throw a AI algorithm at it, it will eat what it can get. That's it. And if you do not protect that data, so that's where the privacy comes in, you don't protect that data, you will be able to expose many data and a lot of data. And then also the actual what did I want to say now? It will eat everything and the results could be skewed. That is called hallucinations. So from the privacy and security point of view, if you do not close it out, if, for instance, you've got an example where you go and say, okay, I would like to know the top salary in my company, and you haven't secured anything, you will get that. Right. So now that's very nice. The point is, don't leave your data unprotected. So that's nice. What about the BA? And this is where we come now. This is where we come now. So the BA's role, and I feel that a BA is, and not being a BA myself, but a BA plays a paramount role in AI. If you look back at the case study and you look at it, bridging the gap, to bridge the gap between business world and data science teams. Someone looked at that question. Someone created that questions. It wasn't the AI guy just thinking it up. That's a business and analyst role. It's not. It's not or a psychology role. It's not a technical role. So that gap is bridged by a business analyst. It's very, very important that the business analyst is there from the beginning to the end. And depending on the scenario, I know this was now a more psychological example. If it's a financial example, then you need that type of business analyst. The second one is data sheriffs. So the BAs don't stop at defining the needs. They will then continue to work. Like I said, it's from the start. They continue to work. They work closely with the IT teams on the security. Now, again, look back at that example, the securing the access. Now this lady or this person gave all this information through. This is very private information. We now need to look at it from a legal point of view. We need to know, and I can talk a lot about that as well. But if we look at the legalities of it, POPI, GDPR, and so forth, this all still needs to be adhered to. And now the AI Act. Then there's never clean data. Never, ever. If someone tells you there's clean data, there's not. And the BAs also plays a very big role in looking at that, in cleaning it, looking for errors, inconsistencies. I'm not talking about the type of data where your ID number has got one digit too little. That's a technical cleansing. I'm talking about more where you can now see, okay, this is obviously a wrong piece of data from a context point of view. Then lastly, for now, it is the data champions. So, and I know that it said somewhere it's documentation. It's not documentation. But there must be clear communication and documentation throughout the AI projects. So if you have a look at a standard developer, being it a data scientist, being it a BI developer, whatever, they do not communicate well. They do not write documents. They do not do that. And what is the failure of managed services? What is the failure in projects at the end, handovers? And in 10 years' time, why not? Because there's no communication, data requirements. No one knows what was the limitation, why it was done this way. And for me, a business analyst is that person that will actually go and look at that and will keep the team honest. So if we take an example of that, is the questionnaire that was now in the previous section. That questionnaire that was created, that needs to be documented with the reasoning behind it. So when I say documentation, it's not documentation for documentation. It's actually for a reason. And I think the BA role is important for each and every process. I don't know, you can answer maybe in the chat if you agree with me that the role of the BA and the data scientist is almost on the same level. Please, I don't have the chat open now, but please let me know. So another example of bridging the gap is in the finance industry. So I know a question that came on beforehand is, when will the AI regulation come into play in the financial industry? So if you have a look at the bridging the gap there, you will need to be able to, like I said now, get the business world and the data science teams together. But it's more with, in my opinion, in data sheriffs. So that is adhering to all the rules and the regulations. And also the AI Act that is in the Europe is, so the AI Act is more on outcome, just like GDPR, just like POPI, it's based on outcome and results. It doesn't actually tell you what you need to do. So when will it be part of the financial industry? I think it's already partly there. Officially, when it will be written in South Africa, a few years. In the short term, 5 odd years. I can't see it happening sooner than that. No legislation happens sooner than that. But your BA will still just need to adhere to it. Adhere to common sense, if that makes sense. Why I'm saying that is the privacy laws are all common sense. If you take, for example, let's say I'm going to use the word religion or the example of religion again. I had a discussion actually with one of my colleagues or at Dharma, and I said, I don't understand why Poppy says religion is a special confidential information. I don't mind. You can know what's my religion. It's nothing to me. And the lady said to me, but you're thinking of it wrong. You should think of what could be the consequences if someone finds it out. And I went, none. We live in South Africa. I don't think anything. And she then came and said, but if you live in another country, you could be killed for it. And I'm like, yeah. So that changed my mind in totality, where I now say that if you look at the data privacy side of things, it's common sense. Think of it as, what if it leaked? Not, it's just another law. And that's the AI Act in Europe is exactly the same thing. The basis is, one of it is it should be transparent. 2 is you on only the government's allowed to use facial recognition and biometrics to make decisions. The other is just literally you need to be able to explain what you're doing. It can't be a black box. Now, going back to the example, makes sense. Can't be just a black box, because a black box, the outcome could be horrible. And then that's the basis of it. And it came for long. It's just now called AI. From a data champion point of view, I have discussed that now, but that's basically the BA role, is taming data for AI. And I hope this did put some clarity on it, and it was interesting. And please put some comments in there, what's your opinion, so we can, I would like to make it more interactive. So quick, a video, which I want to almost stop with, because I want more time for questions. But this is actually where we are now. And even though the example that I gave is scary, AI is very exciting.
It's no exaggeration to say that in our lifetime, we're going to experience more tech-led change than the entirety of humanity that came before us has experienced collectively.
I don't think that we are going to prevent the use of artificial intelligence either in entertainment or any other industry. I think it's going to actually become a fundamental part of knowledge work and creative work going forward. This kind of AI-generated content is absolutely going to inundate the information ecosystem. We can conceive of it as us being now on the cusp, I think, of a profound change in our relationship to machines that's going to transform the way we live, transform the way we work. It's even going to change our experience of what it means to be human. The use cases of generative AI are so profound. Increasingly, we're going to start to be engaging with AI-made content. It's going to become ubiquitous. I would argue that all forms of knowledge work, white-collar work, creative works, are going to be impacted by the effects of artificial intelligence. You're really looking at the information revolution becoming an intelligence revolution, because these are machines that are now capable of doing things that we thought were only unique to human creativity and to human intelligence. All of the big tech companies have understood that this is immensely important strategically and have made generative AI a core part of their strategy going forward. It's going to become a turbo engine for all human communication and information, and it's going to become a layer, if you will, of the existing digital ecosystem. And it's happening exponentially.
It's no exaggeration.
That's my 50 slides. If you want to check it out, my LinkedIn profile is on the top one. So please leave comments and questions, and I do write a few blogs every now and again. And what this talk was based on is the blog post on NTT's website, which I did, and the link is there at the bottom. So I would really like to find out, what did you think? What's your concerns? Because BAs can't be replaced. You still need that link. There's a lot of tools that can help you, but you can't think like a human without the human's help. So yeah, that is me. Chris-Anne.
Thank you so much, Karin. This was really informative. It's also nice to know that we're not going to be replaced anytime soon, whether it's by robots or AI or anything of that kind. There's some questions that we've got. The first one is actually from me. While you're going through this, one of the things I want to know is, how do you ensure the quality of data? Is this something AI can help with, or is it solely the BA's responsibility?
It's a bit of both. So there's different types of quality of data. So if you have a look now on the example, the case study, the questionnaire that was asked. So you can think of that as the data that came in, the quality thereof. So the answers to the questions, is the questions enough? That quality is definitely a BA thing. And in this case study, a psychology thing. If it was now a financial institute, different. But your BA and your business can be seen as the psychologist, and your IT, there's actually three parties. The police officers should be able to ask the questions and be able to have, with a structured interview, put in the data. And your psychologists need to help you, because we're not psychologists, you're not psychologists, and then that needs to be formulated into a question. And who will be doing that? It will be the BA that's going to orchestrate all of that. At this stage, a machine can't do that. So that's the one type of quality. And that's why they also in that research said that part of the data quality training problem was not the data was not there. The people hid the data. They didn't say, oh, no, I got hit by my husband 5 years ago or 3 years ago, or it's actually my son for that matter. And if we're now taking male-female violence. I'm just taking example. I'm not picking on anyone. But if you hide that, now that is also now again totally a machine can't now go and say, yeah, but are you sure? You know, they don't have feelings. So that's a one portion. Then the other portion from a data quality perspective, more when we look at, let's take financial industry. If you look at your bank profile, your banking profile, where it's now, I'm Karin, I live here, I've had my bank account since then, I have a bank account at this other banks. That is where AI can play a huge role in helping that is cleansed and that data gets more accurate. Having said that, if it all works with patterns. So if you look at generative AI, not general AI, generative AI, it's statistical. The models most of the time is you predict what word is going to be next. That's all it is. So if you ask ChatGPT a question, what's the history of South Africa? It is then going to predict that words in context. That's all it does. It's actually, and that's why it's prone to hallucination, as we call it. But your cleansing is, like I said, now a bit of both. You can use the tools. I wouldn't put it just out there and say clean it. I have done it in testing environments, and it is okay. It's all right. And you can do it, but you have to make sure that you do it in the right context.
And you have to
So
have
would
that
that
human
answer your question?
validation. Yes, it
Yeah.
does. Liana's got a question here. Data science and BA are similar or on the same level? I do not understand. Data science produces the code and the BA needs to understand the output of the code. Please explain.
I meant the importance is on the same level,
Okay.
not the actual. So I meant it's the same importance. That's not one is more important than the other. That's what I meant there. I hope that answers the question.
It does. So there's some comments here. CBC says it's very interesting. And then we've got a question from Krisan. How can South Africa adapt foreign legislation, such as the European Union's AI Act, to address local challenges in regulating artificial intelligence?
Just do it. Poppy is actually based on GDPR, so it's going to be the same thing. I can imagine. And if you have a look at the older laws, it it actually came from not even from Europe. It came from America, and then Europe helped it on, and America forgot about it. So that's the OECD and the data privacy frameworks, and that ended up all in GDPR, and the rest of the world copied it. I foresee the same happening for AI.
Yeah.
Because it's a very, I like the framework. It is also outcome driven. It doesn't tell you how, it doesn't tell you why. Just like GDPR doesn't tell you actually how. I don't know if people know this, but GDPR is only, it's for Europe, but every member country needs to have another law associated to it for the actual implementation of the line item. I foresee it like that. Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
I think it does. We got a thumbs up from. There's
Got a
another comment from
thumbs up.
Susan saying, "I feel like I'm in a data science masterclass." So I think that's a double thumbs up there.
Oh wow.
Deborah wants to know, what are the competencies that BAs need to have over and above what they already have to function in a data context?
To function in data context. Um,
Yeah.
So in my experience, I mean, everything already is around data. So I think a BA is already there with regards to that. If you now go and zone in, so if you look at just, let's say you've got your process automation or your processes that you now go and analyze in the business, you're already thinking in the back of your mind always about data. So that is entrenched already in the
I think Deborah's
discipline.
just clarified. Sorry, Deborah's clarified a little bit more.
Mm.
She said she's talking in terms of big data context rather.
Big data context. What do you want to start coding? No, so big data is it's the internet. Okay, and then you go start to talk about the dark data, which is also big data that is just living on a heap. So what I would suggest, if you want to start to look at that, is, and data as a whole, is just to get an overview. And I see Howard is on here, so I'll do a quick ad for him. DAMA International Data Management Association, which has also got the CDMP. Howard, don't you want to put your details on the chat, please? Which is a certified data management professional, which actually helps you, and our BAs in our department all do it, the base course. Then you can decide if you want to go into a master class. It gives you just that high level, that first pass on, I need to look at it this way. So if Howard isn't on anymore, I can put it on a bit later.
Okay.
I don't know if it's on.
Yeah,
I hope that's fine.
I think that's fine. Colleen wants to know, with data interpretation using AI tools, the old adage remains, garbage in, garbage out. It is essential that questions should be driven by sound frameworks and validated questionnaires. And as you mentioned, a human expert supported coaching and modeling. Humans can also interpret people's responses incorrectly. We need to find a midway between AI tools and human expertise and proactive intervention where possible.
Well said, Dr. Cole. Yeah, so definitely that's why the line is there, but we're still finding it, if that makes so sense. And I've got my manager also sometimes say he's very scared today. So some days I just think of this stuff and I say, oh, no, I don't know, I'm scared. But yes, we need to figure it out, because as a human, if you just look at relationships, friendships and so forth, two people take years to get to know each other, and they understand that if I say something this way, don't get close to me. You know, a machine can learn that quite quickly, but there's no emotion. So, like Karin said, now it's the interpretation thereof, and humans make the mistake, and humans teach machines. But the danger of it is, if you give a machine a task, they will do it. It will do it. They, listen to me, it will do it. If I tell the machine, go out of the gate, and I do not put the guardrails on, it will break the wall. It will kill people to get out of the gate. This is very dramatic, very drastic, but it's exactly the same thing for anything else. Let's say, for instance, another example is you are working, or you are a loan shark, and you want to make your maximum interest. You tell the machine just that. Phone the people, just, that auto dialers, for me to make the maximum interest. When do you think that will happen? The machine probably, and maybe, and I'm totally wrong, but for me, that machine will go and phone the people that has got less than a certain income 2 days before payday. Because they will borrow any amount of money.
Yeah.
Is that ethical? You asked the machine to do it. You didn't put guardrails.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. Some more
So
questions?
Yeah, so with the human intervention portion of it, I mean, especially if you're working with big data, having to validate that and have that tick off to say, yes, this is more or less within the lines or acceptable requirements. Does that not get too cumbersome then if you've got so much of data to deal with? I'll give you a real life situation that we've currently got is I work in the health information industry, and especially around HIV, patients move from facility to facility, from region to region. It could be because their jobs are nomadic, or it could be because of that stigmatism around HIV. They don't want people to know their statuses, but they still want to be on the medication. The rule of thumb is it doesn't matter who comes to you. If they tested positive, you got to give them treatment, but you don't have the medical history that followed them from site to site because they don't always give you the right information. There's no integration between sites. Now you try to clean up that data or try to deduplicate the patient identity to say, is patient A and patient B the same person? And then we can combine their medical data. But a lot of these things are made with American standards or European standards. They don't conform to African type of standards. So where most would use a name and surname to identify, especially where there's no unique identifier. In Africa, it could be name, surname, and grandfather's name, or just name and grandfather's name. So it doesn't always work. If you try to apply those rules, you end up getting so much of that data back for a human to say, is this right or wrong? Because the algorithm throws out these and they're like, okay, it doesn't match. It might be a match. So you tell me if it is a match or not. If that's the case, then you have so much ad where someone physically needs to go check each and every one of them and say, okay, yes, I think based on this, it's right. And yes, tick it off. Then it defeats the purpose of actually having AI doing that deduplication because you're giving more work.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So
So the role of the BA number one in this scenario, I would say, is the rules.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got the rules, cool.
Yeah.
Now we've written a algorithm that we call similarity index. That we actually implemented for Tour de France. Long story short, it checks similarities between items with rules. Now, BI comes in, do the rules, and then this then gets configured in an index. Then you give it statistically, then you now go through the whole statistical items. And then you say, I would like to only know about 90, if the similarity index is below 95% certainty. And those ones then get pulled out to be able to do that. But what we also then added in is we said, but hold on, this is because now, like you say, there's some items that's missing. Let us then just try to use different data sources first to complement it. Now, in our wild Africa, I don't know where we're going to find that. This was business data, so that's a bit easier. But a person living on plot 493, you're not really going to find the full history. But yes, so similarity indexes can work in a scenario like that, but the rules needs to be defined.
And that's where the
First.
BA comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. Liana's got a question. Using Copilot to write your emails and use it for marketing purposes, like cold calling, how is this addressed in GDPR?
GDPR, not
Mm,
AI Act. So it's never mind Copilot. It's no. You're not allowed to cold call. So
yeah.
if you look at GDPR, you're only allowed to use the information for what it's intended to. That's so every time Vodacom or Interme or Telkom phones you and says you want another contract, they're not allowed to. It's illegal. We as South Africans just go away. If we really made the effort, we could have done something about it, but we don't. We complain about it and then we put the phone down. But so for that reason, you're only allowed to use the information what it's intended for. So if we have a look now at your medical example as well. Now you know person's got HIV, and now you decide, okay, now I want to sell them a life policy. That's unethical
Mm,
and that's illegal,
yeah.
but it happens. Somehow this information comes out. So AI, not AI, is not allowed.
Yeah.
And that's again where I come back to, you need to put your guardrails on. How do you put your guardrails on? You put your guardrails on policies. How do you get these policies to be done? Who's going to tell me what is it? The BA. The BA is going to tell me what's the guardrails.
Yeah.
I've got a team of 40 people that can go configure the policy and go click the button and say, no, don't do it. But someone needs to talk to the business because these oaks can't talk to the business because they need the pizza under the door. They can't talk to people. I hope none of them is on this call. But you, the main item, the main thing is that a business analyst for me is more than a documenter.
Yeah.
It's all of this. It's getting to know what is happening in the business and actually having that relationship. Now, I double up as a business analyst, but it's I don't know, it's a skill. Not everyone's a business analyst, or can be. It is a skill.
It is. So there's a quick one from Subasiso. Who defined AI in 1956? Karin mentioned him at the beginning of the session.
I need to go back. I can't remember.
We'll
Not
send
in
you
my
the information, Subasiso.
We'll send you the answer.
Yeah.
It's an old dude.
Okay, and then the last one from Krisan is, how would you explain some of these complex data concepts to non-technical stakeholders? Maybe just for clarity, in terms of definition, describe the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning.
Supervised and sorry, just repeat that. You broke up a bit, or my headset broke up.
Maybe just for the clarity in terms of definition, describe the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning.
Okay. Supervised is the toddler example. You're gonna tell the toddler's gonna come with a square, and you're gonna say, this is a square. This is a square. This is a square. Unsupervised learning, and then eventually toddler's gonna know. Unsupervised learning is the toddler is going to pick up something with 4 sides and go, this is a square. And it learns. That the last part, it sounds easier than it is, but it's going to start teaching itself by making mistakes. That's what unsupervised learning is. Teaches itself. But now you've got a new one now that the one AI is going to teach the other one, and I'm still scared of that one. Can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. So we've got a comment from Colleen. Absolutely brilliant presentation, Karin. Thank you. Insightful, on point, and practical. Much appreciated. I'm running off to another meeting today. Really appreciate the opportunity to learn with you. I also want to just add my thanks, Karin. This was actually absolutely brilliant. I will hand over back to Chrisan at this point. Thank you again.
100%. Sorry that I didn't use all my 50 slides.
You can send it to us if you want to. We'll look at it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we'll share your LinkedIn details and your Zap scans here at the end. I don't know if
Okay.
everyone's been able to get that, so I'm happy to just post that. I'll share it to the team, and it obviously will be when we upload it into YouTube as well. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, I think very insightful. And if more questions or anything pop up along the way, because as soon as you go to bed, then your brain starts working. Especially from an AI perspective, I'm sure we'll filter it all through to you. So thanks so much, Karin. I really appreciate
100%.
you joining us this evening. And yeah, I think that all went quite well. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
If there's anything else you want to ask, please reach out to the team and we'll forward it on to Karin, and you can definitely find her on LinkedIn. You quickly want to paste your LinkedIn in
Yeah,
our
let me
chat?
quickly do that. Hold on, let me quickly do that. Where's my presentation? Yeah, more than welcome to pop me a message or start a Barney whole discussion on my profile. You'll find a lot of people with opinions on there. I doesn't want to paste now.
Yeah, let me try quickly. I've also got it open on the side. Just in case. Copy. There we go. Okay, I've managed to put it in the chat.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you,
Okay, dokes. I
everyone.
think that's it from us. Anything else?
No, all good.
Thanks again, Karin.
Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye.
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 Bye, Tim.
Bye,
Niks
Chrisan.
nog hier.
Chrisan.
Thank you so much for inviting Karin, Chrisan.
Oh, it was
That
okay.
was
Yeah, that was perfect. Thanks so much. Yeah.
Oh, thank you,